after the chaos, life is still going to go on. Something bad happened, and your normal life was disrupted. Some type of chaos happened. Could have been a trauma, could have been divorce, death, moving, just chaos. When it ends, it's going to affect you. You're going to have changed some. So it is important to plan on who you want to be. Because if you don't, those circumstances will affect you in a negative way. Hey, welcome back to Uncivilized Rebirth. I'm very glad you're here. I've made this channel so other people going through tough times or dark days or battling with internal identity issues will have a place to go to hear some guidance, because I have been through many things in life and I've put together some things that help people with a shortcut, kind of bridge the gap between where you're at and where you want to be. And if you like this stuff, please like and subscribe. It helps grow this channel. I'm almost to 1,000 followers or subscribers, and then I can monetize. And I think that'd be super cool. So chaos hits. Life is in shambles and you're scraping your way through. You're getting dings and beat up and taking the hits. And you can get in a very dark spot. And sometimes you have to really cry out for help to find the people that can help guide you. And that's just the way it is. It's tough. It's miserable. And it can be something that is so out of this world that it fundamentally changes you at the core, or it has the potential of that. And I want to share a story with you of something that happened to me just 2 years ago that could have changed me tremendously on the other end of it. And I had to choose and use internal tools to make sure it didn't change me. The only reason I had this awareness is because I have been through many things in the past. And I took a step back going into this, and I chose who I wanted to be and how I wanted to endure. So we're going to go back to spring break of 2024. I had my kids for 2 weeks. It was June, and we were just, summertime. You get bored, you go swimming, you go walking, play video games, you're finding stuff to do. So this other town, they were clearing out this big section of property behind the fire station, because they're going to make this big city complex down there. It's like baseball fields, a walking track, gymnasium, trying to bring a state-of-the-art place here. So we go exploring down there. Really cool. Big, wide open fields that were just scraped clean. And we found these deposits of clay in the red mud. And we started talking about it. And my daughter was like, hey, let's bring it. I was like, let's do it. So we dig up a bunch of this clay and we find some really good chunks. Like, we had to go from area to area. Like, we'd find a really good chunk that had a lot of red dirt mixed in it. And we were like, okay, this is good. And then we'd find a better one without as many red deposits. And it's more pure, a white chunk of clay. So we were pretty excited because we're going to take it home, let it dry, and then crush it to a powder, and then mix it with water so we can make clay sculptures. And I was like, yes, something to do with the kids. It'll take time, and we can all make something cool. Because I was like, I'm going to make a pyramid. I think that'd be awesome. We all ended up just doing different things with it, and we really had a good time. A day or two later, still spring break, and I get bored. My son's like, hey, Dad, can we make a firework? I was like, oh. I got to thinking, and I was like, yes, we can. So I go back in my data bank, back to when I was an 11-year-old kid, and I was like, how did I do it? I remember getting fireworks, like the Black Cats, cutting them open, getting a 35 millimeter film canister, and pouring the little powder in it over and over and over till I had like a little bit of powder in the canister. And I remember I was stuck in an ant bed and I lit it because I wanted to blow up this ant bed. But it really turned into like a small flare, just shot out for a second, like maybe 2 minutes or so. it was still cool. So it's like, I can do that with my kid, except I'm not going to have him be doing it by myself. I'm going to be here. So I had some shells left, I think from a rifle, about 8 of them. I took them apart and I poured them into a little 2-ounce red Solo cup. I was like, I need a little pressure. So I get some of the clay and I push it down on top to hold it there. And then I get a wick. I didn't have anything for a fuse, so I get a candle wick, which is the worst fuse. It doesn't work. And I put it down in there, mashed the clay around it, and it was still damp, so I got the fuse a little wet. And I taped it all up, and then I put it away. I was like, all right, we're going to wait a couple of weeks because I need to scout out a safe place to try this. We don't want to do it in the neighborhood. We don't want to do it anywhere where it's going to make anybody mad. And we need like some space to try this thing out. Excited. He was excited. I was excited. Cool. Didn't think anything else of it. School starts back up about a month later. No, this might have been July. So then school starts back up in August. It's either June or July. Before I know it, right after school started back up, all of a sudden I get a knock at my door. I'd gotten home in the gym. I was resting, about to start schoolwork because I was still in college. And it was an aggressive knock. And the type of knock where you wake up and you're like, that's not a neighbor just coming over to say, hey. I go to the door. It was unlocked, so I lock it. Just like, And I was like, who's there? And it's law enforcement. I open the door, and I look outside, and there's about 7 F-150s out there. Like, almost in a U shape across, like, the driveway. And there's officers out by the trucks. There's officers in a U shape around my door. It's like a little patio area. Not a patio, a little bitty stoop. And at first glance, there's maybe 8 or 9, and my adrenaline kicks in fully. It's like, what in the world? And they asked me my name 3 times, and I'm full on adrenaline dump. So I'm trying to calm down. I'm like, what's this about? And they said, well, your son said that you made a BOMB. And I immediately started laughing, and I made a mistake. I waved them in, and like they poured inside. They're all in there, like treating me like a terrorist. And they start trying to look down on me like I'm a little kid in trouble. So I show them what I made. And I was laughing, and they were not happy about this. And I show them what it is. And even one of the officers, he's like, well, if you want to do better about that, you can get tannerite at Dick's Sporting Goods, and it's explosive. And he's like telling me where I can get explosive stuff to do it better. And they start telling me how I couldn't do that, and I was trouble. Finally, I realized I've done nothing wrong. And I told them, I've done nothing wrong and I'm not in trouble. And I just started repeating myself, and I walked them out the door. And these dudes had body armor. Some of them had rifles. Like, they were ready to like throw down. It's like, all y'all got was nothing. Needless to say, you'll see where the story's going. My ex-wife found out about this because they'd sent sheriff department, mobile bomb squad, the sheriff department of my hometown, Satsuma. It's not where I was born, but where I live now. And a representative from the Saraland Police Department. This is in Mobile, Alabama. She gets wind of this, and she goes to her lawyer and says that a bomb squad was sent to my house because I'm making bombs. They take my kids away. So for 9 months, almost 9 months, I had to go I had to fight to get my kids back. I had to get a lawyer. I had to start filing stuff, trying to figure out, like, what do I do? Like, I'm being treated like a terrorist. The day after they came to my house, they started following me everywhere. I had blacked out SUVs following me on the interstate. I had blue tags. Every time I'd take an exit, there's one there. Police officers following me. They're flying up on me, like riding my bumper whenever I go into the accompanying town to go to the gym every single day. And I started video recording it. And it started to get to the point it was straight up harassment. And of course, at the end of all this time, I got my kids back. I proved my innocence, and all this was false, like just allegations trumped up to make me look like this deranged veteran. It's funny, during this time I was creating Uncivilized Rebirth, the actual program for doing the inner work, which I teach on the school platform. So day after day after day, these people are showing up. Law enforcement harassing me, like following me, turning in front of me, like just, it was almost unbearable. And I would go, finally when I got to the point where they're like, okay, we can let you see your kids now. It's like, this is stupid. Like when false allegations are made against somebody, like it will ruin their life. And then you have to prove your innocence, because in America, I've found out you're guilty until proven innocent. So I start recording all this, but I start to get paranoid. I start to get frustrated because I knew every time I would go to the gym, there's going to be law enforcement turning in front of me, flying up behind me. When I started picking my kids up to school, because we started getting to the point where like, okay, I had to start seeing a counselor that my ex-wife picked. I had to go before the judge, to try to get like some semblance of any like connection with my kids back, seeing them. So I finally, like months later, I start seeing my kid. I'm skipping over a lot of details to get to the moral of this. I'd go up to the school to pick up my kid, and like I'd look around, and all of a sudden a plainclothes police officer would be standing right behind me. They'd sneak up on me every time. And it was literally like subversive harassment. One day I went to this like field day with the kids, and there's 6 cops there like standing around like staring at me. They had body armor on. They're like standing like just waiting for something to happen. And my mind is like, I'm the guy that would fight for y'all. I've been to war for this country, and y'all are treating me like I am a monster. This is garbage. And I started getting pissed off. I started to get paranoid. I was locking doors over and over. I was like, knowing that I was going to leave my house, getting harassed. I'm just like, starting to get harassed, and just, it messes with your mind at a very deep level. And I tried to go to state level law enforcement. I went to their internal affairs. I talked to the police officers. I talked to other departments. I tried going to federal level. And when I would talk to them, they would just say, who are you? Who are you? And they'd acted like I didn't exist. I went to the DA down here in Mobile. And when I told him what was going on, he acted like I was making it up and acted like I was crazy. And it's like every step of the way, I was invalidated. And I realized like this is being done on purpose. So I had to sit back and be like, on the other end of this, one day this will all end. Either I'm going to be crazy and super paranoid, or I'm going to crash out and they're going to be like, see, look, he's unstable. So I had to choose in my mind how I'm going to go through this. Like, what type of person am I going to be on the other end of this? Am I going to be solid and resolute in who I am? Or I'm going to be just frazzled and just losing it and unstable? Because it could have happened that way easily. So I kind of did a reverse Uno card. Every day I saw it as, I'm going to collect evidence. I'm glad they're doing this. They're showing the corruption in law enforcement, in the corruption in the legal system, that one day I'll be able to do something about this, but it takes money, which in this society is tough because the people with money can destroy the ones without money easily. And if you don't have the money to hire a good lawyer and a good defense attorney or whatever it may be, you just have to suffer from what these systems will do to you. So as I would go out, I would choose the character I wanted to be. I would activate my character trigger and then go into my mental library, and I would lay out a piece of paper, and I would go into observer mode, as in I would pretend I'm a detective looking for evidence. So every time I would see them, I would record them or take their picture, and I would be like, yes. So I turned it around from, and this is just really reframing the whole situation. I turned it around from getting this like energetic, like, tensing up and feeling it in my energy body when you feel like, you see somebody and it just gets you and you start feeling frazzled because you know it's going to happen, to where I was like, yes, cool. And I wanted it to happen. The very things that were designed to make me look crazy or drive me to the point of unreasonable actions. And it worked. It worked very well. I was able to start filing away these memories so they didn't pile up and have an energetic negative effect. Because it's like when somebody gets bullied at school over and over and over, and they're dealing with it and they just brush it off, and then they blow up. That's because all these highly energetic memories that are invalidated are filed away in the same spot. Then it takes that last one to, boom, fire off all of those memories at once that have those heavy energetic signatures of anger, invalidation, frustration, and then there's this massive explosion. But it didn't happen. And I made it through absolutely in a sound manner. And that's to tell you, if you're going through something currently, you can actively choose how you want to be on the other end and how you're going to go through it. And it all happens in here. How you organize your memories, how you are perceiving the situation, and what identity you're operating in. Are you operating in the victim mentality, the freaked out mentality, the character of starting to play the role of being paranoid, or the role of I'm solid, I have a bigger mission going on here, and this is like just little small potatoes, and I just brush it off and then file it away, as in I can access this later for either a good story or for evidence. And it's that inner work that's super vital, because it's easy to ignore or never even look inside and think about, why should I do this? Why shouldn't I do this? What's going on in my mind? Is it important about the memories being filed away? Yes. Is it important with the identity that's attached to those memories? Yes. Super important. Because now when I look back and tell this story, I'm telling it from a perspective of, I was gathering information and I was observing, and I wanted it to happen. Because I could be sitting here telling a story of how much I was a victim and speaking super fast and stumbling over my words and cursing at the police and being a very disgruntled veteran human here on Earth. But I'm not. Because I chose how to navigate this situation. And I want to give you hope that you can choose how you navigate the situation you're in. Because there's people that are rooting against you. There's people that are rooting for you. The person that needs to root for you the most is you in that mirror. Because you're always there with yourself. And in those times when it's all you, nobody else, it's all you on how you organize your memory and what identity you operate in. I hope this helps. I just want to encourage you, if you're going through one of those times, that you can make it through this. And when you come out unscathed, the people that have manipulated your life and have done things to try to make you crash out, maybe it's family, and then you pass through unscathed and you are a better person for it, jaws will drop. And you can do it. I believe in you wholeheartedly. Roadhouse.